FM St. Paul HD2 and on SKORNorth.com. TCL is a proud sponsor of the SKOR North Studios. TCL, America's fastest growing TV brand. It's Purple Daily.
Yesterday is Big Voice Guy, Purple Daily, every day at noon right here on SKOR North, 1500 SKORNorth.com. I'm Ramie Makhlouf along with Judd Zulgad. You can listen to us on either of those outlets. We're also live streaming on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook every day at noon. You can find those very simply at SKOR, SKOR North, if you want to get in on the conversation, 651-646-8255, or tweet the show at SKOR North. We have quite a bit planned here for the next hour or so, Judd, but the commissioner of the NFL, Roger Goodell, currently giving the State of the League address.
Yes, he is.
Ahead of this Sunday's Super Bowl.
What he's going to be asked about.
What do you think he'll be asked about?
Do you think he's going to be asked about this great matchup between the Rams and Patriots? Do you think he'll be asked about the health of the league?
I think he's going to be asked about Maroon 5 canceling their halftime show press conference yesterday and instead going with a multi-platform launch, promotional launch of the halftime show.
Won't that be
with
exciting
Maroon
too?
5. Yes.
Can we get to a point for halftime shows starting in 2020? Can we redo the idea? Can we come up with a new idea? Let's get rid of bands. Let's get rid of it. It's just jump the shark.
So what do you want them to do? Like an Ice Capades show?
Something more intriguing. It's just over with like when Maroon 5 is just that's it. Like there's nobody. They canceled the
press.
Is
rock bottom?
Does anybody give a damn?
When you talk about somebody with a problem, you're like, okay, they've hit rock bottom. Now it's got to improve. There's no going down from here.
We've done everything with shows. Prince was the greatest. We've done everything with halftime shows as far as rock bands go or acts go.
Yeah,
it's just run its course.
I'm gonna make a confession here. I don't hate Maroon 5, dude. They got a few songs that kind of make me bop my head.
Dude, Ramie, Maroon 5.
I'm sorry.
Maroon 5 is going to the grocery store and throwing in a quart of vanilla into your shopping cart. All right. I'm not saying you should hate them. It's just completely uninspired.
I like a few of their songs. I'm not a Maroon 5 fan. I've never downloaded a song. I've never went out and do people buy CDs anymore? I've never bought a Maroon 5 CD.
I do.
But I've come across a Maroon 5 song on the radio and I don't change it. I will you admit a little bit in my car?
It's vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, it's a little vanilla. Yeah, it's a little vanilla.
It's just let's just get a new idea. Let's do something different next year.
I feel like
people smarter than me come up with a better idea for halftime.
I feel like it's a trendy thing to do to crap on Maroon 5 nowadays, and I'm not jumping on that bandwagon. Manny, are you a Maroon 5 hater?
Maroon 5, are they like the new Nickelback?
That's what I was just gonna say. It feels like they're the new Nickelback.
They're the new Nickelback.
Yeah.
They're the new band that just so many people just say, yeah, they suck.
But I'm not even looking to
while
crap
they're selling
on
25 million records.
Yeah,
Very true.
And that's great.
Which is a little different from Nickelback.
I'm not even looking to crap on them. What I'm saying is they signify the end of the halftime show. You're out of ideas. Like, who's next?
So what do you want to do
next year?
What do you want to do at halftime then? What's your big idea?
People smarter than me come up with a better idea. I'm the one who identifies when it's done.
You identify the problem.
I want the smarter people to say, okay, but here's what's going to replace it. And that's when I say, that's a great idea. That's something different.
Judd is the one who identifies when things are over. When bits are over, when coaches should be fired.
I am the
Judd
hitman.
is the one. Yeah.
I am the hitman. I don't resuscitate people. I knock them off.
Have you guys watched Narcos Mexico on Netflix?
I have not watched it yet. I'm very intrigued by it.
So there's like a Godfather figure who he started the Mexican drug cartel. He was the originator of the Mexican drug cartel, and his second in command is this dude named Nato. And he points out a problem, and the Godfather looks at him and goes, well, what's the solution? And Nato looks at him and goes, my job is just to point out the problems.
Then I'm Nato, yes. That's me. That's my exactly. You got to have guys like me to get something new.
You just point out the problem. You don't have to have anything to do with the solution.
No.
Who gives a damn about the solution? You just want to identify the problem.
Exactly. But we all have jobs, right? Like we all have jobs in life. Mine is to say when you've reached Maroon 5, you need something new. Your job is to say, you're right, and we should do X, Y, and Z.
You know what, Judd?
Thank you, Manny.
Judd, I'm very proud of you. You have an identity.
Yes.
You know who you are.
I'm the guy who looks on a frigid cold day like this and says, you know what? Pets and kids stay inside. Adults, you should all be going to work. So when I see 6 cars going on 94 on an arbitrary Wednesday where it's cold, I say to myself, what has happened to the adults today? Everyone just stayed home?
Here's the silver lining, though. There aren't as many people in the building here today, so I didn't have to park in the auxiliary lot. That's the silver lining to grown men and women staying home because it's cold.
I did the same thing.
I was very excited to find a parking spot.
I didn't have to walk as far to get into the building.
I called the wife, though. I'm on 94, and honest to God, I count. There's 6 cars. I pull out the cell phone because there's no one near me. Call her, and I said, there's 6 cars. I said, these cars are all warm. Adults, get in your car, go to work, unless you work outside, in which case, if you work outside, that's fine. Take the day off.
Stay home.
Right? But our credit union closed today.
What?
Our credit union, you people come in and stand inside the warmth. You're no different than me. The only reason I'm here is because I'm on the air, and if I'm not, people won't be able to. But seriously, okay. So I identify problems. Somebody else.
You're just mad that you didn't get to stay home today.
No. I like going to work. I love my job. I'm saying I want adults to go to work.
This was all just a ploy for Judd to get off his chest his anger that people are staying home from work today because of the cold.
Judd, do you think that if the Super Bowl were here this year instead of last year, that Maroon 5 would use the cold as a reason why they wouldn't do their press conference?
I think Maroon 5, if you remember, as of Wednesday of last year's Super Bowl week, it got cold, not this cold, but really cold. They might have, yes. And the only reason these wimps don't want to do their press conference is because they're afraid, rightfully so, someone's going to say, hey, Adam Levine, what do you think about Kaepernick?
Right.
That's
because supposedly Rihanna, and I think that was Cardi B another one who turned down the NFL as far as doing the Super Bowl halftime show, and there are a couple other people who reportedly turned down the NFL halftime show because of the social issues involving Colin Kaepernick, and so the speculation is they didn't want to do this press conference because people are going to ask them about that, and they're not here for that. They're just here to play music and entertain us.
And that's something else I've never gotten. Why do we think that Adam Levine, why do we care what he thinks? Since when does his stance on social issues, seriously, I could ask you, right?
Yeah.
Your opinion of what's going on in society is as or more important than his. I've never understood how movie stars and rock stars become this social conscience. It's no, you're not. You're good at what you do,
right?
And God bless you for that. I'm not ripping these people for their talent, but I've always found it really interesting that we think athletes, movie stars, and rock stars are somehow the touchstone, the conscience of our country.
I don't begrudge them for having views on political and social issues, because people will tell us stick to sports, and I'm like, well, if you're a plumber, stick to plumbing,
right? So
I'm not going to tell Adam Levine or anybody in Maroon 5 not to have an opinion on politics or social issues, but
absolutely.
But I don't expect it from them. I don't think it's incumbent upon Adam Levine to have serious thoughts about Colin Kaepernick.
If he's asked that question, it's also his right to be like, I'm just here to play halftime, dude.
It's like the joke that Dave Chappelle made, maybe, I guess it was probably 5-10 years ago now, about how when the 9/11 attacks happened, how MTV called they had Ja Rule called, and he goes, we got Ja Rule on the phone. Who gives a damn what Ja Rule
exactly.
Right. I got questions Ja Rule might not have answers to. This is what Chappelle said.
Oh, that's great.
I forgot. Ja Rule. Let's go live.
I don't even know what happened to the show here in the first 10 minutes, but I'm glad it happened.
Did you guys, speaking of Ja Rule, and I'm kind of jumping off topic here.
No, that's fine.
Did either of you guys see the Fire Music Festival?
Yes.
Documentary
I saw the
on
Netflix
Netflix.
one.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's fantastic.
That was amazing.
It was
unbelievable.
It was off the charts. And the greatest thing about that documentary, it was the perfect amount of time. It was because it felt short.
Yeah.
Like they didn't drag it out. Yeah. They didn't drag that thing out. But yes, it was.
They didn't turn into like a 7-part thing.
Here's the embarrassing thing. Honest to God, I have no recollection of this. I completely missed the whole thing. Like, I completely missed it.
How?
My wife's like, how'd you miss that? She said, I read about it at the time.
You're on Twitter?
I know.
Everybody was like, it was burning up Twitter. How did you not see one
And
thing
don't
about
you follow?
Firefest?
Don't you follow like 5,000 or 6,000 accounts?
Yes.
Did you follow Ja Rule?
No, I'm indicting myself. I'm embarrassed. I'm not. Pick on me. I deserve it. How did I miss this? And my wife's like, you just don't pay attention. I'm like, you are probably right.
You know what?
But I can fix things.
You know what? Gives me an idea.
What's that?
Maybe Billy McFarland should organize the next Super Bowl halftime show.
As soon as he gets out of the pokey, Manny, I love this idea.
You know what I was thinking? Just combining two things we just talked about here in the last few minutes. If the Super Bowl was in Minneapolis this year with this cold, it would end up a lot like Fire Festival. Like all these people, all these people spending all this money for like these huge parties and luxury accommodations, and they get here and it's 60 below, and you can't leave your 4x4 hotel room.
You know what? You are 1,000% right. How many truly rich people, if it was this year, would have looked at that forecast and said, I'm eating the money. I don't care.
Oh, for sure.
Now people definitely did not come last year who go probably on a yearly basis when it's either west or south. So there were people that stayed away, but I can only imagine the amount of truly wealthy people who would have looked at the forecast and been like, $15,000, $50,000, name the price tag.
Right.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not going.
I'm
eating it.
If you spent money on Super Bowl tickets, especially good Super Bowl tickets or some kind of box or suite, you got a lot of money to waste. Like, and so
$100,000.
Exactly. Are you going to, you're going to fly into 60 below when you could watch it from like your beach house in Miami? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I wouldn't do it if I had that kind of money to waste. If in my current financial situation, I spent money on Super Bowl tickets, cold be damned, I'm going to be at that game.
Yes.
There's nothing that would hold me back.
But imagine if like the Miami Dolphins or something made the Super Bowl and it was up here. If you're a Dolphins fan, do you even really want to fly up here?
If
you live in South Florida, it's warm all year round, and then hey, my favorite NFL team's in the Super Bowl. And it's in Minneapolis in February.
If you're a fan, I think the answer is yes. But if I'm a corporate mogul, if I run FedEx or something, I ain't coming. So if I'm a fan of the team and I love that team. Now the flip side to this conversation too is I remember driving out. So the media parking and shuttles last year for the game on Sunday were at the mall, of course. And so you went to the mall, you parked at the mall, you took the shuttle down here. And I remember going down 494 to go park. And the amount of small planes flying in, I was like, it looked like traffic.
Wow.
Traffic on the road. There were a lot of people that flew in, let's say around noon, got their car, limo to the stadium, got dropped off at the stadium, went in, watched the game, got in the car again, went back to the airport, got in their small aircraft, which, by the way, they walk right onto their plane. So this is not oh my gosh, I got to go through security and I might be late. This is we take off when I say we do.
Right.
Got back in their plane and took off.
Wouldn't that be great?
So this is we think of this as, oh, you got to fly here and then you got to get a cab or an Uber or a Lyft and then you got to go to your hotel and then you got to, no. These people go to Signature. They basically get dropped off on the tarmac there. They get on their small plane. So they are, if you were among the filthy rich who came in here on Sunday last year and flew out on Sunday night and went to the Super Bowl, my guess is amount of time spent outside was probably all told minutes, probably 10 minutes.
Some buddies and I talked about doing something similar to that, only it wasn't the Super Bowl. It was a regular season game in Jacksonville that you could get $25 tickets to. So we were like, hey, we could get airplane tickets on Spirit for probably like $150. pay $25 for a ticket to a Jaguars game, get off the plane, get right back on the plane because who wants to stay in Jacksonville, and head right back home.
You're a smart man, Ramie.
Right?
Who wants to stay in Jacksonville?
Exactly.
That should be a game.
The whole trip would be like $300.
Yeah.
But that's the level I'm on.
But it's fair.
Some guys are doing that for the Super Bowl with their private jets.
Right.
I thought about doing it for a regular season game in Jacksonville on Spirit Airlines. That's what I was looking at.
It's a rather large difference.
That's the difference in what we're working with here. Quick peek behind the curtain. What we had slated for the opening segment of the show before whatever just happened was
my fault.
We were going to give our own state of the NFL addresses since Roger Goodell is giving his right now. So we'll do that right after this. You're listening to Purple Daily every day at noon, SKORNorth.com, SKOR North 1500, and we're live streaming on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook at SKOR North.
Hot takes, North cool. SKORNorth.com.
Hey, Minnesota sports fans, Phil Mackey here, introducing you to the all-new SKOR North on 1500, where you'll find Purple Daily at noon, Matthew Collar 2 to 4, and Mackey and Judd with Ramie from 4 to 6. Over at SKORNorth.com, that's SKOR. In addition to great written content, you'll find some of the most entertaining local Minnesota sports podcasts. Purple Podcast, Raised by Wolves, Myron Metcalf on Hoops, Touch 'em All, Royce Unchained, and plenty more. Find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, all at SKOR North. Minnesota sports, anytime, anywhere.
Because what you listen to doesn't come from just one source. We offer Minnesota sports. Lots of it. Whenever you want it, wherever you are. Even when you're mobile, on the move. Remain grounded with access to the content that you're passionate about. Get it all here. SKOR North, Minnesota sports. Anytime, anywhere. SKORNorth.com.
Hey everyone, it's Phil Mackey here. A year and a half ago, my mother died of a rare form of blood cancer. And so in memory of my mother and countless others, we're raising money to fight blood cancer, and we're climbing a skyscraper to do it. 53 floors of the Capella Tower as part of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Big Climb Minneapolis on February 16th, presented by Northwestern Mutual. You can donate or climb with us, Team Mackey, for only $15 if you use the promo code Mackey when you register at BigClimbMinneapolis.com. Learn more at SKORNorth.com, keyword climb.
TCL is a proud sponsor of the SKOR North Studios.
Every single time something started to go the wrong way for the Timberwolves, Tom Thibodeau threw a fit on the sidelines, was berating players, berating officials, and if you're a player, you look over there and there's this negative energy you can't help but feel even from the other end of the court. And so at the very least, Ryan Saunders brought positive energy and an encouraging style to the bench, and that's super important.
Britt Robson of The Athletic wrote a lengthy piece. A very minor but revealing tidbit about Tibbs' approach concerns the lasagna dinner Taylor holds for the entire team at the end of every preseason training camp. It is a cherished get-together. Thibodeau has been a no-show at these gatherings. You lost games, well, that's bad. You lost players, that's bad. But when you didn't show up for the damn lasagna dinner, that was it.
You can find more from the SKOR North TCL studios on demand at SKORNorth.com. TCL, America's fastest growing TV brand.
It's big. It's back. The Nelson Marine Annual Open House Sale Event. This Thursday through Saturday, let Nelson Marine show you their incredible selection of London Crestliner fishing boats and South Bay pontoons. Browse their 2 large indoor showrooms. Enjoy the hospitality. Take a chance on a raffle prize and soak it all in. With open house specials, new factory rebates, and closeout pricing on 2018s, you're sure to find a boat that fits your style and budget. Nelson Marine, White Bear Lake. Online at nelsonmarine.biz.
Binge Listen Minnesota Sports. SKORNorth.com.
And this portion of Purple Daily is brought to you by Robert W. Baird and Company.
Hey, it's Purple Daily on SKOR North 1500, SKORNorth.com. We're also streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. We made it easy for you to follow us on all your various digital and social media platforms. It's at SKOR North. You can also go to SKORNorth.com and find Purple Daily, Touch 'em All, which is coming up right after this, Raised by Wolves. We have all your teams covered at SKORNorth.com. Just check the shows tab, or in your favorite podcast app, you'll find all our team-centric shows as well. Roger Goodell giving his State of the NFL address as we speak, Judd, and we thought we'd give our own State of the NFL address here on Purple Daily. Judd, what would you say is the state of the NFL?
So Raj, of course, had a chance last week and reportedly was going to issue a statement after the debacle at the end of the Rams-Saints game. He did not do that. He's addressing that today. So if I was Goodell, in all candidness today, before I take questions, I would get up and my opening statement would be, folks, we are the most popular league in America, perhaps the world. Don't know on that one for sure. Don't care. But we are the most popular league still. The NBA is very nice, but our sport, it continues to thrive. Ratings are up, or were up in 2018 again. We basically got through some problems. We got some more problems. But for the most part, I know you're going to ask a bunch of questions. And, you negative reporters are going to ask a lot of questions of what's wrong with officiating, blah, blah, blah. But I want to tell you, in all candidness, honestly, I don't care. Because our popularity is going nowhere. We are in great shape. The only real long-term concern that we have, and fortunately, as commissioner, Goodell's 50-something now? Yeah. As commissioner, I'll be long gone by the time this gets to be an actual problem, is concussions and our parents allowing their kids to play football. And 30 years from now, we might be done. I don't know. I don't care.
Right.
But I don't care. Because we are rolling in money. We are rolling in success. Essentially, we're talked about constantly. Do you suckers realize we only play 16 regular season games, and yet people won't stop talking about us because we have the combine, the Super Bowl, then we have the combine, then we have the free agency period, and then that leads into the draft, and then that leads into OTAs, which leads into mini camps. And basically the only time that we are dark is July, when you're all talking about our teams because the season is about to start. So ask your questions, say what you want, but keep in mind, Raj up here don't care because I'm swimming in money, and that's why I'm making about $43 million a year.
If you want to tell us what you think the state of the NFL is, 651-646-8255, or tweet us at SKOR North. Again, you can watch us streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook at SKOR North as well. So you just don't care, Commissioner. You don't care how people perceive you.
Negative Nellies are all going to ask me questions about what I'm concerned about. When I go to sleep, do I sleep well? Yeah, darn right I do, because I got a brownstone in Manhattan. I got a place in the Hamptons. I probably got a place in LA. I am swimming in cash. I'm going to be for the remainder of my life, basically. So I'm not worried about what concerns you, although I will act like I am because I care about the good of the game.
Yeah, and that's what the NFL is good at, is pretending like they do care.
They're experts.
They're really,
so what's your state?
They're really good at not doing what you just did, acting as Roger Goodell, which is to go up and tell people what they're actually thinking, which is, we don't give a damn. We don't care.
I was peeling back the curtain of what Raj really thinks.
You're reading between the lines.
Exactly.
By the way, Roger Goodell is actually not 50. He's going to be 60 in a few weeks.
Really?
Then he really don't care. Because when these little twerps that aren't playing football start to play, he's going to be dead. He's fine.
Yeah, he's very close to retirement. He really doesn't care what. Roger Goodell is like LeBron James at this point. Like,
yes. Yeah, basically, that's a good.
Like, you can't touch me. Like, what? Like, I've done all this. I've made all this money. Like, what are you gonna do? I'm just gonna see what I can get away with.
Me and my friend Rich Paul, we're doing just fine. Thank
you. I would say the state of the NFL is somehow strong, and I don't know how. I don't get it, but it is very, very strong. You mentioned that the ratings were up this year, Judd. NFL ratings saw its first TV ratings increase since 2015 and its largest percentage jump this decade, which, when you put that in perspective, is kind of crazy and ridiculous, because the drop in ratings the last few years that a lot of people wanted to play up as a major concern for the NFL. And of course, this has something to do with political and social stances and protests that people have made, where really the nature of TV in 2019 is for ratings to drop, and especially for ratings as high as what the NFL had, because people have so many more options now that the pie is divided up into more slices. When you talk about what people are watching. So the drop off in ratings the last few years for the NFL was actually kind of natural. It was and should have been expected. What shouldn't be expected is the first TV ratings increase since 2015 and its largest percentage jump this decade. That is kind of ridiculous when you think about everything that the NFL screws up, from rules on the field to how they handle controversy off the field. They don't get anything right. And yet I need the NFL like a drug. I need you to put it directly into my veins every Sunday for at least 9 hours, and probably a couple hours on Monday and probably a couple hours on Thursday. I don't know why. I can't stand the way that they handle rules. I can't stand the way that they handle off-field controversy. I feel guilty for watching guys get brain damage and enjoying it while I eat chips and pizza on my couch.
You got to get past that right now. I'm going to help you get past that.
I don't know.
These are adults who choose and make a lot of cash by doing this.
There is a lot in my bones, in my soul, in my heart that says this is not a product that you should enjoy. These are not people that you should support. And yet every Sunday for 4 to 5 months out of the year, I need football pumped into my veins for 6 to 9 hours, and I need everything that we get in the offseason. I need the draft. I need free agency. I need controversy. I need it, and I consume it, and I don't even think about it. It's like a drug.
You need football rehab.
that I need.
Our friend,
That's what you need.
Our friend Patrick Royce once said that in reference to the Timberwolves, even when they do the right thing, it's the wrong thing.
Right.
I feel like with the NFL, it's the opposite. Even when they do the wrong thing, it ends up being the right thing because everybody's still, even when they royally screw up things, people still love it and people still gravitate to it, and it doesn't affect them at all. They just keep bringing in the cash and bringing in the viewership, and everybody is still fully invested.
And they genuinely don't care.
No,
like they genuinely don't care. They are. Ray Rice will never play again because of what he did. And oh, by the way, the truth is that he was an aging running back, and they don't care. Kareem Hunt will have a job next year
for sure,
because this young man deserves a second chance and to be rehabilitated because he's still got his life in front of him. And oh, by the way, he can help me win. The NFL, though, okay, if you strip this down, the genius of this league and the absolute perfection and why we're all suckers and why I'm more than happy to be one is really, really simple.
Yeah, I want to be clear. I enjoy it.
And so do I. but you feel guilty.
On some level, I do. Yeah.
And you feel guilty. I don't at all, because I'm willing to play along with the genius of what these people do. One example. First of all, the off-field stuff, we can talk about it all we want, but at the end of the day, a very small faction of people really cares about that. The on the field, though, is interesting. Long ago, this product as a whole, I think in some ways started to disintegrate in certain areas. But what did they come up with? The most genius thing of all time, the red zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you aren't a fan of one team, so if you aren't going to watch a Bears game, like if the Bears don't play, and you're just arbitrarily going to say, okay, I'm going to watch this game today, and you sit down and you watch the Browns and Steelers, that might be an awful game. And you say to yourself, the product here is not very good. But what happens? They come up with the red zone. We're going to take you to the best moment of every game possible as it happens. The greatest invention of all time. Because now you're like, hey, Browns and Steelers, they're at the 10-yard line, and there's a interception, and that's exciting. The NFL knows how to suck us in and keep us there while wink, wink, acting like they care about what we think or what's wrong off the field when they are geniuses. Their drug is the greatest sports drug going. I think basketball is getting there. Basketball does a lot of smart things too.
Right.
You know, the controversies and the fighting and the guys who are trying to be traded. All that is great too.
But you were talking yesterday on Mackie and Judd with Ramie, weekdays 4 to 6 here on SKOR North 1500, SKORNorth.com.
The all new SKOR
that
North.
the NBA, they have the right kind of controversy.
Yes.
They don't have rules that even the league doesn't understand. They don't have the domestic violence and guys on camera punching women. They don't have, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't have the wrong kind of controversy. They have the right kind of controversy, like most recently Anthony Davis demanding a trade from the Pelicans at the request of LeBron James.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That's
through Rich Paul, yeah.
That's the type of controversy that they have.
Yep.
But the NFL somehow has all the wrong kind of controversies.
Okay.
They have the right ones too. They have the right storylines going too, but they have all the wrong kinds of controversy and handle all of them poorly, and yet somehow come out smelling like roses.
But I'm going to give you the next step and why and where basketball as a on the court product falls short of football. The greatest thing, in my opinion, is red zone. But really, if you went to the public, and I mean male, female, dogs, cats, don't care, the greatest thing and where their genius and where they long ago became a product that everybody got basically involved in and was dying to watch, fantasy football.
True.
Fantasy football went from when I was a kid and I used to play it, and I played it into my 20s at least. You know what? It was mainly a guy-dominated thing, right? Boys would have their draft, and we'd get some beers, and we'd draft, and it would be great fun. Somewhere along the line, the league's like, hold on a second here. The males are going to watch us regardless. Men are going to watch us. Women, how do we get them involved? And now, look at the amount of people. I don't care the sex. Look at the amount of people now who on Sundays get in front of that TV and watch their players. And all of those. So all of the off-the-field problems, I bet it's almost an equal amount on both sides that are like, this is disgusting. This guy, I can't stand him. But, the game's on at noon? Hold on a second. My team's playing.
I have a lot of female friends that will text me on a Sunday at about 10 a.m., like asking me who they should start at running back for that day.
Everybody's playing.
Everybody's playing it.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Even people who don't watch football.
Yes. But think about that. Like, think about any other sport that comes close to that.
Right.
I can't.
And there will be people who are disgusted by what Kareem Hunt did, who will have him on their fantasy team next year and be pumping their fist whenever he scores a touchdown.
Yep.
The person pounding their fist and saying, this guy disgusts me, will eventually suck it up and say, if he's still there in the 7th round, I need him. I'll take him.
He could win me some money.
Yes.
Right.
And that might be sad, but it's 1,000% true.
I'm that dude. I'm not gonna lie. I'm that dude. When I watch the NFL, there are I go against things that I believe and feel. I go against it just because I need that drug that is the NFL. I need it.
So if you're Goodell today, you've got all of these questions about officiating and what are you going to do and are you going to fix this and ultimately you're going to walk away and laugh.
Yeah, he's like the dope dealer who's like, he'll be back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what he is.
Well, wait, that's a great point because if I'm not mistaken, a lot of people who go through the league site to play initially fantasy football start for free, right? So yes, it's like drugs.
Right.
Oh, we'll just give you a taste of
give
fantasy
you a taste.
football.
Yeah.
I'm in for 200 next year. It's not going to be free next time.
4 leagues.
It's not going to be free next time. Okay, I'll do it. I'll pay you $400. I don't care what it takes. First, give me Kareem Hunt in the first round.
First league is free, man. First league is free.
You're right. That's a great comparison, Ron. Laugh all you want. You're not
Only
wrong.
the first one's free.
Yep.
I think I'm making light of it to make myself feel better about my NFL problem right now. I think that's what's happening.
Purple Daily has turned into a therapeutic couch for Rami.
It's an intervention.
I got a lot of problems with football. Me and football is very complicated. I'm going to start charging you.
You can stream this intervention live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook every weekday at noon. It's Purple Daily, and we have all teams. Shows covering all your teams. I just forgot how to talk there for a second. It'll be Touch 'Em All coming up next. Talking some
feel
Twins.
Such guilt.
You can find Raised by Wolves, Touch 'Em All, Purple Daily, all our team-oriented podcasts and shows. It's all up at SKORNorth.com or in your favorite podcast app. Just do a quick search, and they'll be really, really easy to find. We'll hit a quick break. On the other